All right, Mr. DeLu and Erica Walker first in the house tonight. Good to see you guys piling in. Look, we're just about 8 minutes out from going live with this week's installment of Coast to Coast. I'm Cris, the engineer, sitting at street level in the Cycle Source Magazine Rolling Command Center, ready to go live with Coast to Coast. Don't go anywhere. Make sure you hit the like and share buttons. Get this thing out there. Cris, Simmons, and Michael Lichter with a killer show tonight. You won't want to miss this one. John Frew in the house. Good to see you. Hey, remember to throw up your hometown where you're listening from. We want to give you a shout out. And special thanks to all our friends out at Choppertown and Cycle Source Magazine. Doug Riquette in the house. Walla Walla, Washington. Stick around just 8 minutes. We go live. Bill Rodenso in the house. You honor us, sir. Waukesha? Did I say that right? I always have a hard time with them Wisconsin city names. Erica Walker coming in from Staten Island, New York. Nancy Weems, good to see you here. Jason Sims checking in for this party from hot and sunny Mesa, Arizona. You bastard. It's getting cold in the Northeast. Hey, man, but that's all right. We're going to heat things up here tonight with Coast to Coast. 6.5 minutes left. You guys are piling in. It's great to see you all here. Tuesday night. What a great way to start off the week. Get ready. Coast to Coast coming quick. Grab a drink. Rob Nussbaum checking in from Sciatica, New Jersey. Boy, do I feel your pain. No kidding. Dan Nolan says we need more ambassadors. Looking forward to this. Right on. All right. Aledo, Illinois. Bill Vandola in the house. Lucas. Candido Moda, Sao Paulo. Listen, I'm having a hard time tonight. It's a good thing I'm the engineer and not the host. Erica Walker, 5 more minutes. We're actually down to 3 minutes and 15 seconds till this one's going live. Gonna happen quick. Tell your friends, getting ready to go coast to coast. Mr. Dennis Stauber, Big D, checking in. Good to see you here tonight. Nancy Weems hitting the share. Good, thank you. Help us get this programming out, man. You know, everybody's still social distancing, but our motorcycle community cannot be stopped from getting together. We got good shows like this all week long, and you guys are helping us. Daytona listening. Amy with us. Thanks for coming in, Amy. Down to 2.5 minutes now. Team White Trash here. That's a little rollover from the other show. That's great. Thanks for tuning in, Randy. Lisa Landers in the house from Arizona. Hey, man, listen, I can't say enough to you guys about Chopper Town because, you know, in addition to this program and 3 or 4 other ones that we engineer here, it's awesome that they let us do this, but it's not just us. I mean, they're putting so many people. Rick Fairless has a show, and Jody and Dave Pirowitz, and Spacey has a show, and man, like obviously Gina Woods, and they're really putting it out there, really putting everybody with this motorcycle programming out there, and we just want to give them a big thank you. So, 1.5 minutes, almost time. Okay. I see. Just about 30 seconds left. I guess that's time to get this one out of the stable, get it up on the racetrack, and launch this week's episode of Coast to Coast. Here we go.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. How's it going? Welcome to Coast. We're coming to you from Northern California. Well, I am. I know my co-host Michael's in Boulder, Colorado. But I'm up in California having a great time. There's no fires up here. We're at on the coast. It's just really gorgeous and just hanging out and relaxing and going through my mom's old stuff she's got laying everywhere. But anyway, let's bring in Michael Lichter, our co-host. We'll talk about tonight's show. Shall we? Come on in, Mike. Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great. You look wonderful out there in California. Yeah. I keep saying you seem to you have a glow. You have a Northern California glow.
Must be
and
the
I don't
fog.
mean like fires. Yeah,
it's good
it must
for my
be the
skin.
fog. There you go.
Yeah, it's foggy. Definitely.
That's perfect.
Yeah, we're just hanging out. It's kind of fun, going through some stuff in the house and just organizing and making my husband do a lot of honeydews. But
and your daughter,
my daughter was
left.
Here. Yeah. She was here for a week, and then she left, went back to Portland. So we've been here like a week. I came in with a little cold, but it wasn't anything. I actually got tested I didn't tell you this. We got COVID tested. Oh my God. If you had that thing up your nose, it was like the worst, but we're negative. Thank goodness. So that was the good news for this week. But other than that, just hanging out. What have you been up to? I know you show me your shoulder. You don't have the sling on. You can't really.
No sling, but I have to lift it up. There it is.
Oh gosh, 6
I got
weeks.
today's the 6-week post-op check, and they said I could start lifting my arm. But they said you won't be able to lift much, so just lift your arm. That weighs enough. And I could barely go up a few inches. And I'm telling you, I was doing physical therapy today, and after a few bouts of that, I'm going like, seriously, I'm exhausted by trying to lift my arm. Oh my God.
Well, hey, it's better than the alternative, being with that ice pack and the machine going on.
That's true. So I'm on the road to recovery. So that's good.
Cool.
And it's been a good week. It's been beautiful. And we had dinner outside tonight in Colorado. Here it is, October 13th. We had a beautiful dinner outside. I mean, the sun it was already dusk, and it was still a comfortable temperature. Had a beautiful meal on the grill. Good friend of mine came up from Taos. He's got a ranch down there, and he came up for the night. And unfortunately, we would have loved to have gone riding. He's got a spare bike for me down there, and I have a spare bike for him here. But having to lift the arm up onto the
You're not ready for that.
I don't think the doctor wants me doing that yet.
Or your wife, your lovely wife, would be like, no way, Michael. I know what she would say.
Oh my God, she'd smack me down quick.
Well, we've got a great show tonight. I'm so excited. Our friend Shelly, I mean, you've probably known Shelly longer than I have, obviously. Shelly Rossmeyer Pepe is coming on, and I don't know what to say about Shelly. She just amazes me, all the things that she gets to do and things she does. And what do you think? You want to bring her in?
Let's bring her right in. She's got such a big personality and such a big history. We need to get her right in.
Yeah. Hey, Shelly, how's it going?
Hey, Shelly.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Oh, you always have such a wonderful smile, and you're always so cheery. I think you're just happy to be. We're happy to be around you. I think you make everybody
being
smile.
Around you.
You make everybody smile. Totally. Yeah, and you were on top of our list. You had to be on here because you have such a history with motorcycling, and the timing, which you reminded me of in our pre-show, that already Biketoberfest, it's Tuesday, but it's here and it's happening. And I know there's a lot that's planned and going on, and I know there's limitations and there's things between Daytona and Ormond that you could tell us about. But before we even go there, let's start by really telling people who you are, because as the main operator of Daytona of Destination Daytona and Bruce Rossmeyer's Harley Davidson in Ormond Beach, with your family, that you seem to be at the right there in charge and calling the shots. And I know you do that with your family, but you've been doing that. I know, sadly, your dad passed in 2009, and you were thrown from the kettle into the pot. Isn't that the case, Shelly?
Yes, our whole family was, but we have absolutely, we felt like we were prepared for this, and no one's prepared to lose, their father. But I feel like he groomed our family and me specifically to step in if anything ever happened, and it did. So it's definitely been with the support of a lot of people.
Wow. And I
must say your dad was a wonderful man, and I didn't know him as well as I wanted to know him, but I had the pleasure of meeting him, and he was just always the sweetest person, I must tell you.
And your dad certainly was not only a big guy, but he was a big personality in the industry. So some big shoes to fill in with, right?
Absolutely. And one thing my father wasn't, and that was boring. So it's something he always knew how to have a good time. So you always ask why I'm happy and having a good time. I guess I'm trying to fill his footsteps in that department.
Well, you've done an amazing job. And I know just when I say shortly before he died, literally days before, you came by in Boulder and we had lunch, and you were telling me how you were ready to to move up, and because you'd been doing all these other jobs in the business, and you said you were really ready to sit at his side and learn the business when all that happened. So, like I said, thrown from the kettle into the pot, but you rose to the occasion very quickly. I can't even comprehend how that must have been, how it worked.
Well, what was so crazy about that time in this industry is just the economy had had a huge hip check. And so my father was already dealing with that, as every human in business was dealing with. And so we had gone so big when my father built Destination Daytona and was wanting to build on top of that. And then it's just, the economy just took a hit, and we had to figure out how we were going to keep our expenses down and still be able to, make money and survive. So it was a very trying era, and there was a lot of hours and a lot of worrying, and also the most important thing, taking care of our mom and making sure she was good. It was just a freaky time that we definitely got through, and we are so grateful now.
It's amazing. I know that your family is so incredibly close. And we'll have some pictures coming up shortly with your sisters and brother. But I know having a tight family, you hear about families that, you hear somebody that, I haven't spoken to my brother in 15 years, or my sister and I are estranged. I go like, how does that work? I mean, and obviously that has not happened in your family. You've been able to stay so amazingly close.
We definitely have, and we kind of like each other, and we like the same things. So being around motorcycles and the people that ride motorcycles, and the music and the fun and just the riding, it just kind of makes it all work. We used to go out as a family to Sturgis and ride motorcycles before our dad kind of made us start going out there to work. But we used to, I'd be cruising down the road, and I had a couple of sisters, my brother, maybe a boyfriend, you know what I mean? And mom was on the back of dad's bike, and we would just put on miles. And it was funny. It was like you had to be downstairs at a certain time, or you were going to be left. And hangover, or no
Shelly,
hangover.
How many are there of you? How many brothers? Do you have one brother and a couple of, how many are there kids?
3 sisters and a brother. I'm the youngest of 5. And so I work daily with Mandy, who Cris, and then Will. But we have a sister, Wendy, and another sister, Randy. And Randy was involved with the business early on when my father first got into the Harley Davidson business.
Well, it's interesting that Randy was in early on, but then were you maybe the outcast? I mean, how did that work? Didn't you slip away to Colorado?
She's the baby,
did.
Baby can do that.
Yes. Well, I had worked in the car business with my dad. I started selling cars for him when I was 18 years old. And my dad kind of gave us an opportunity, and I worked myself through the car business. And then he bought the motorcycle dealership while still owning some car stores. And he sold the Toyota dealership in Orlando, which is where I was working and had been for about 4.5 years. And as soon as he sold that dealership, you guys, I went, oh, this is my chance. I'm going to Colorado. So I go to Colorado. I'm doing everything you should do living in Colorado. I was
ski bum
on the mountain.
Okay,
yes,
where were you up? Were you up in Aspen? Is that where you were?
I was at Vail first, and then
wow.
So I was in Vail for a year, and then my father bought Grand Junction Harley Davidson. So he bought it within a few months of me living in Colorado. He kept asking me to come to Grand Junction to start working. And I was like, Dad, the mountain in Grand Junction is not the mountain in Vail. So about 8 months later, he says, what do you think about Aspen? And I said, I like Aspen. Why? What's up? He says, well, I'm going to open up a retail store there. You want to run that? And I went, I haven't done retail, but I'm sure I'll figure it out. So that's where you met me, Michael.
That's right. Now, of course, we sort of met because neither of us recall it. I remember going into the shop and introducing myself, and you were the only one working there, so it had to be you. And what year was that?
It would have been 1997.
Wow.
See, so that was wild. Now, I thought maybe that was your idea because it seemed like it was a Shelly idea. Like, I'm going to go to Aspen and do something. And your dad said, okay. But I didn't realize it was his idea. So that's even better.
Well,
really
if you
cool.
guys probably remember, Harley Davidson started bringing these retail stores into kind of high traffic tourism Disney
Sure.
World areas. So Aspen was one of the first, what they referred to them as alternate retail stores, but basically high-end T-shirts and or just the Harley Davidson apparel. So yes, when he had the opportunity to do that, I definitely jumped in, and I loved living in Colorado, and I still have some of my closest friends that either still live out there or moved on, and I try to make a trip there at least once a year.
And we did get to go skiing together, which is wonderful. That was years later, but and I'm looking
Yes.
forward to your next trip. And now with Mandy having a place out here to go to, I expect you out here next winter, right?
Yes, and now we just have to get over our injuries, including you, and we'll be fine.
That's right. Well, let's get back to the whole destination, because originally there was Robeson's Harley Davidson that so many of us are familiar with, or those of us that have been around, and that had a lot of characters, a great store. And then you opened Daytona Harley Davidson right there on Beach Street, and really, I think, if I'm not mistaken, you tell us the story, but it seems like Daytona Harley Davidson was the anchor. Was that the beginning of Beach Street, or had it been going already? Can you tell us that story?
Yes, that was definitely the beginning. As you know, the store we built, so dad built it, and he had just noticed, and I think it was his background in the car business that had kind of always been used to, if you're going to bring people to your dealership, in which case try to sell vehicles, you need to have kind of the hoopla, my father called it, in the parking lot. And so he wanted that mentality of people come in and parking their bikes and walking around, and he wanted to bring a lot of different people in the industry to the table, and it worked. And so then came the food, then came the food vendors and the bars and the stages and the free music. I mean, it was a big deal. Yeah.
It's definitely one of my favorite places to go.
Let's bring some pictures on, because we have so many pictures to show. And I think some of these are new for Shelly. She hasn't seen them, or if she has, not in a while.
Oh, there we go.
There's with your good friend Diva Amy. And of course, Diva sold some of her work in your shops. But I actually selected this as the first one just because I love your smile there. It's pure Shelly Rossmeyer.
Well, thank you. That's cool. I like that picture.
Yeah, let's roll through a few of these, Chris Callan, and they're just some pictures of Shelly in her element. And speaking of element, Shelly, of course, is in Daytona now, and Biketoberfest is beginning. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going on?
Yeah, what's going on this year?
We are definitely seeing some traffic early. The weather's really nice. It looks like it's really nice. I'm looking at my skin and it looks like I'm sunburned. I'm really not, but it's the lighting. But the weather is beautiful, and you guys know better than anything, when weather's nice, everyone's just in a good mood, ready to ride. And with all this stuff happening, I think we're going to have a really good event. We're going to go into this with safety measures first. We promised the city of Ormond Beach that we would really put forth the effort to, practice social distancing and keep people in a safe environment. And I really feel confident that we're gonna have a successful event.
What about in the store? I mean, you have the big lot at Destination, but then you have huge. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's like almost 110,000 square feet inside. Now, it's not like you can't distance in there, but what is the mask policy for Ormond Beach?
Oh, yeah.
Actually, the city of Ormond was a 6 feet apart and or wear a mask. However, the whole state of Florida has been opened up now. So there is not a requirement, but we are still, you're still seeing quite a few people wearing a mask, and quite a few businesses are requiring a mask in order to enter, such as restaurants and establishments. We do have the signage out, and we are providing masks if people need them, and we are requiring all of our associates to be wearing a mask. So I believe
play it smart. That's definitely the way to go.
It is smart. Of course, the sad part on here is that the mask doesn't really protect the person wearing it. You're doing it for other people. So unless everybody wears it, it's tough. But that's another subject. Now, of course, with Biketoberfest going, I have to do a plug now. I'm not coming down this year. I'm sadly missing it. And but I am one of the things I'm going to miss, besides seeing you, Shelly, which is on top of the list, is on Thursday. We have a huge, wonderful event at Willie's Tropical Tattoo. Now, I don't know, Shelly, have you ever been to that? Because you're so busy at your place.
Yes, and I try to just do a little drive-by, just because I've, I am always usually pretty much glued up to Destination Daytona or our new Smyrna store. And so on Thursdays, I just try to sneak out and get down there, and it's easier, as you know, on a motorcycle, if I can just kind of pop in there, check it out. If not, I always see tons of footage after.
Well, I think it's great to show your face. Chris Callan, let's bring up some pictures of Shelly riding, because every time I see her, she's on something different. It's not like she doesn't have a choice of new Harleys to ride, but she's got some great bikes from Jesse Rook and some other customs. And I've seen her on some really awesome bikes. I do think you need to show your face down at Willie's and pull out one of your cool little rigid bobbers and head on down there, at least for a few minutes, right?
Yeah, I love these pictures. Wow, I remember that bike.
There's so many of them. What was this bike there?
Oh, that's the 65 Panhead.
Nice.
Oh, that is so nice.
That would fit in at Willie's. Yeah, old school.
Yeah, take that to Willie's. You'll fit right in. You get an award without even knowing it, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Cool.
I love that show, though. I'm really glad he's done so well, and the people who support it. So what a great addition to our area, especially during the bike events.
Well, our host,
Oh, go ahead. You can say
we're
it,
saying
Mike.
the same thing. You tell
I know
him.
Chris is going to live broadcast from his van. He's going to be out there shooting. I guess he can go remotely now, he said. He's going to go out and shoot some stuff. So I can't wait to see it, because I'm not going to be able to go either this year, but I would love to still see things. So you guys tune it in on CycleSource on Thursday.
Yeah, we get to see it through Chris's eyes, because he's going to have this incredible master control van with 2 outlets that have cameras live, and he's sending his people out there. So that should be really good coverage. But Shelly, another thing, I'm amazed that in all the times I've seen you with so many industry people, because I see you at a lot of industry events. Going back to some of the biker balls, if we bring up some photos now, we'll bring one up from 2007 of you. If Chris Callan could bring that up. Yeah.
Oh, I love that picture.
Oh, my God. Oh, I love that. Yes.
Yeah. And then the next one with your mom also. But
yes.
Before we even get into the industry, we're really looking at family here. You have such a tight-knit family, as I said, and now we have some pictures of you and your mom. I don't remember how I got you into the studio, but
that's awesome.
It's so sweet, isn't it?
Yes.
How is your mom doing anyway? How's your mom? I haven't seen her in
great.
so long.
She is so great. She, with 5 kids, as you would know too, you just want to make sure everyone's okay. And our sister Wendy, who lives in New York, she kind of got pushed out of New York and went out to LA and then back to New York. And now she's in Florida at her home with her family. And so my mom's really happy to have her here. But yes, I remember that day in the studio, and it was behind the Arlen store, Michael, if you remember.
Is that what? Oh, yes. I was set up doing a shoot for Allstate Insurance. That's what it was. And I had some of the builders in there. It was actually a really big shoot. I had like a 40-foot wide background, and it was intense. It was a big deal with all the builders. They had to be in one shot, no Photoshop, anything like that. But, this next shot of you, it's on stage. You have to remind me, there was a painter, I believe he was fairly famous, that you commissioned to do this artwork behind you for an anniversary. And it just goes to show the fun in your family. Like, you're just all having a great time.
Oh, yeah.
Always laughing. That is our whole family right there. So, and that's Perigo. He did all of the murals and the faux finish and tons of art around all of my father's dealerships over the years. And so he had done that for our 20th anniversary party, which was out here at Destination Daytona in the pavilion. So what a great shot too. And he does performance art around the country and, nightclubs and all different stuff. So that's cool.
That was a lot of fun that night. And then I guess you were on stage with your mom in the next shot with I guess your mom being president of the company, you got to get her out front and center, but I love that. And then we come into you and your sisters, and I know you're close with all your sisters, but Mandy being right at your side. And if I'm not mistaken, isn't she really your riding partner?
She really is. She's my best friend. We do a lot together, but riding motorcycles is definitely something that, you always say someone smooth and steady. That's Mandy. She's the person you can always count on. She doesn't want to be out front. She just wants to follow suit. And so we've put on a lot of miles together, and then we have just the same interests. So it's just, my interest is to stay out late. Hers isn't. So she's guiding me to get to bed earlier these days, which I always said, why do I have to go to bed so early? And she's like, you're going to feel it when you get older, Shelly. So she's right.
Yeah,
it sounds like hanging out with Gloria and Sturgis when I want to go to bed, and she's up. Ozzy's playing at 1:00. I'm like, Gloria, I'll be in bed by 1:00.
I'm curious about this next shot because you're always smiling. Your family's so smiley, and I'm just wondering, when you were little kids, did your mom have a way to say when the camera came up, you had to have a certain smile? It's like automatic. I lift the camera and you guys are smiling.
Well, that's very, very sweet. And I guess, when you are around the people you love, it's kind of natural. So I do
that's
feel
awesome.
very
That's a
comfortable.
good answer. I love that. Perfect.
Yeah, we got a little more riding shots here. Yeah, and I guess these are all you and Mandy coming into Destination Daytona. Yeah. Out on the bridge.
Yes. Yeah.
Nice
I think we were doing our the women's ride.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
And this one here is 2010. The last one was 2017. And then
and we did that ride together with what bike is Mandy on?
What that is.
So many bikes.
Nice.
Yeah, I know. See, this is good. That I remember that bike too. That's but it's great because when you would come down and you have invited us for a handful of events that you were doing, and thank you for always including us. And I would see you all over the place, from V-Twin Expo to, of course, the rallies. But it was always nice to be invited to come be a part of one of your rides, and
it's always great, including in Sturgis. The next one is coming into Daytona, and then we get into, after this next one, riding, and then we come into some industry people, which is kind of fascinating too. This next one here with Arlen Ness. So there's some history in these next few shots.
Oh
that's
yeah,
great.
absolutely. Yeah.
This is 2006 from the Bikers Ball.
Oh, I was going to say that looks like,
And Arlen, if you guys, and Roland, there we go.
Roland Sands.
Oh,
My God, that's 2006. Roland looks like a baby there, doesn't he?
He's always been like a baby.
No, look at him. He really looks like your kid brother there, Shelly.
Yeah, he looks like he should be in a movie, kind of the cool,
the kid
cool
with the hat on, Jackie.
The scruffy kid from the
yeah, like the paper boy.
What I mean? Could be like Boys Town.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's cool. Really, it's great.
Oh, and here's another one, Jesse Rook.
Wow.
Great
Wow. I know.
Yeah.
From the Bikers Ball. And I know you and Jesse were close. Didn't he build you a few bikes?
He did. He did a project with Dad, which he built the Rossmeyer Flyer, which he did the prototype, and then 3 bikes. And when I was running the Arlen Ness store, we had the custom manufactured line of motorcycles, which then eventually came the Ness line of motorcycles. And in there we had Jesse's bikes, and he did some collaborations with other manufacturers like Swift, and that's one of the bikes I was riding. One of the pictures is the Scrambler that we built like about 25 of. So we did projects, and my dad was always, he seemed to find the cool kids, as he called them. And then he would get me and say, hey, I want you to meet this guy, or I want you to meet this girl. And we're going to do this. And I'd be like, all right, let's go. And racing was one of those things that my dad just knew I loved. And he said, I don't know what I'm going to do, but if you want to be a part of this, you let me know. And I was like, I want to be a part of this. Let's do it. Let's get to the racetrack. So we did that for a couple of years too.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're always game. That's so cool. Absolutely. You know, I think in these next few photos, I'm going to let Cris take over, because really a lot of this is about women in motorcycling. There's some events. I mean, this next shot with Karen Davidson, who's going to be a guest coming up in the next couple of weeks here, by the way, with Karen and Bill Davidson and Mandy, of course. But this was it was a women's ride that ended up at Destination Daytona. And then we have the biker bell. So Cris, why don't you bring up some of that stuff? I mean, it's amazing, because Shelly really has a history where she was riding bikes as a little kid. It's not something that her dad bought the dealership and she started riding. It's a history in the family. Yeah,
definitely. I think I remember meeting you guys at the ladies' ride in Daytona. I think maybe I had my 15 Harley Effie there. I remember riding with Karen, and I'm thinking all the time that I hope I had enough gas in the bike.
I
remember. I think you guys actually had to gas me up at the shop every destination when we got
and there you are in that photo. That's it right there.
Yeah, this is Biker Bells.
And actually, that is 2013, Cris. That was 2013 when you were at the Biker Bells with Shelly. And there's who do we have in the photo there? Can you ID everybody?
Tigra from the AMA. Now I don't know what she's doing now. That's next to me. And then the Latricia, can't remember her name. She's a tattoo girl. She's an awesome person. And then there's Vicky Sanfilippo. And I think that girl is Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yes.
Next to Shelly. Do you remember her, Shelly? I can't remember her name now.
Yes, I met her that year for the Biker's Bell. But you know what, Cris, I remember when Patrick played at Destination, he just did that little that was like the first time we did that women's ride, and we ended up, and he got up on stage and did a little minor set, and that was unbelievable. And that was one of the first times that we hung out.
Yeah, I forgot about that. He comes down there with me once in a while for sure. You know, he's just here messing around with my lights. I remember doing the Daytona thing with you guys, and then Sturgis, of course, and then I don't know where this last picture's of the big group shot here. I think that was one of your
that group shot. That was from 2016. That's an MDA ride. I see Karen Davidson there. Do you remember these, Shelly? Because a lot of the MDA rides end up at Destination Harley as well.
Yes, that was out at Daytona International Speedway. I remember that day, and we had left there to take a ride and end up at Destination. So cool.
And you guys do a great job. I mean, you guys raise a lot of money. You do a lot for some good causes there.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know you guys do a ride for children. You do I looked at your calendar. You like Coffee with a Cop Day. That's awesome.
Yes,
stuff like that. You know, really cool. I know I'm going to take it. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
You just have to stay in the community. You know, we're fortunate to have a small community. So, you know, the more you do and the more people participate, and it makes it, you know, it makes our weeks and months go by pretty quickly.
Definitely. Well, thanks for doing all that. Hey, you know what, Mike, let's take a commercial break. And when we come back, Shelly, I want to talk to you about Sons of Speed, because you know, it's that vintage stuff. It's so much fun. But let's take a commercial break right now, and we'll be right back.
All right. Let's thank our sponsors. Thanks.
Hey, this is Cris from Cycle Source Magazine, and I want to thank you for watching the flagship show of the Source Media Group, Shop Talk. We go live with Shop Talk every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but it's only one of the many programs we offer from Source Media. In addition to that, Wednesday nights we have Cannonball Chronicles that looks into the life and times of Cannonball racers as they prepare for this year's Motorcycle Cannonball. Thursday night we have Bike Night Live that dives into the culture of bike night, the food, the bikes, and the fun of hanging out with friends, and we even have some live entertainment. Sunday morning, Cyber Swap kicks off, where we have a sort of home shopping network approach to motorcycle swap meets, and we bring guys on that have parts to sell live right there. All of this in addition to our staple programs, which are Grease and Gears TV, live on the street from the events and rallies, Grease and Gears Garage, and Grease and Gears Garage Roadshow. We look forward to bringing more of this type of programming to you from the home of Two Wheel Entertainment, the Source Media Group.
And we're back.
We're back.
No, I just get into those commercials and I kind of forget we have to do a show.
My God, I got to relog in there. That was quick.
Oh, you did? What happened? I didn't see
I
you.
don't know. That's happened twice now.
All
I didn't even
right.
know.
Anyway,
Seamless.
I really love this Sons of Speed stuff. You know, I think I was at the first one. No, I was at the second one. I've been to like 3 or 4 of them maybe. But Shelly, are you still with us?
Absolutely. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep,
Yeah.
there you are.
Okay, so I know you've known Billy Lane probably for a while, but how did you get involved in Sons of Speed? Can you go back to the first time, maybe what happened there?
Well, I heard what he was thinking of doing, and he heard that I might be interested.
Look at you go. I'm sorry. Look at that
I
picture. My
know.
goodness. That's awesome.
Well, he definitely, like, he sparked an interest. He came to me and or called me one day and said, I heard you might be interested in participating in the Sons of Speed. And I said, well, please explain to me exactly what I'm interested in. And he said, basically, these motors, as you guys know, have been sitting on shelves. People have been collecting these motors back in, for years, but not doing anything with them. And as you know, Cannonball came established and people wanted to start running them. Billy had the same concept, but he wanted to race them. And he really wanted to build the chassis and get them going. And he said, if you find the motor, then I'll build it for you. And so I found a 1915 Harley Davidson. It's 1000 cc. And that was the requirement to participate, was all motors had to be 1000 cc. And so I practiced with him. I was his kind of trial and error tester a little bit. We had access to the track in our backyard here at New Smyrna, and we would just try to get some track time, and we'd sit out there sometimes and never run a bike, and then we'd sometimes have a good day, and next thing you know, we were racing.
That's awesome. He's
you
such
sure
a
look
nice
good
guy.
on these bikes. You look great on that
I remember
bike.
talking to Shelly about after the first Cannonball, because we was like, you have to do the Cannonball, and you're like, I can't take that much time off, from the business and everything, but you really wanted to get involved with antique bikes. So I know that you're kind of chomping at the bit. And then when you got the chance to do the Sons of Speed with Billy, that's awesome. He took you under his wing and helped you out with that. He's a cool guy. I always liked him.
Yeah, but I still think you should do the Cannonball.
Yeah,
I know.
I want to see Shelly on the Cannonball.
Hey, I envy you guys and girls that do that. I know how hard it is, what the stamina that's involved, and just the knowledge. And that is something, I've probably, I don't say I take it for granted, but I've been around motorcycles my whole life, but I've also been around people who know motorcycles. So I have certainly had the advantage of having someone wrench and work on the bikes, for me, opposed to myself. And that's something that I guess just owning a motorcycle business gives you that perk. So I can keep all my bikes in our dealership as my garage, and someone else can help work. Oh, Barry Boone. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Look at you getting interviewed there.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Barry passed away, a couple of years ago now?
Yes, yeah.
I'm going to interrupt for just a sec. I'm wondering if any listeners out there have any questions. We're getting a lot of comments from people that are just chiming in and saying hello, like Deborah Kay in Walla Walla, Washington, which I'm kind of curious if it's wah, wah, wah. And Bill Rodensel, of course, from the Harley Davidson Museum in the house from Milwaukee. Rob Nussbaum with his unfortunate bad back.
What happened to Robbie's back?
Yeah, poor Robbie's moving his shop.
Oh, yeah.
And so we'll see him tomorrow night on the Cannonball Chronicles.
Right.
But Rob is moving shop, and he lifted something wrong, and I hope he gets better soon. We have Arizona in the house, Daytona, Cocoa Beach, and from all over. But if anybody has any questions, just put them down, and I'll post them. I'll ask Shelly about them.
Definitely.
Back to the Sons of Speed, though.
Yeah. How is
getting
that with no
interviewed here.
brakes? I don't know if I could do that.
You know, I didn't think I could do it either, but just knowing like right where I'm sitting right now, that's how I had to get that thing going for the first couple of races. Is just I'd roll start, and then we just kept tuning it and fine tuning it, and you know, a couple of things would break, we'd have to replace it, and then you try, you know, a different starting procedure. But in this case, that was, I asked Billy, I go, okay, good question. How am I going to stop this thing? He goes, just turn your fuel off. And I said, okay, when?
Oh, God. And then how many hundreds of yards does that take?
Well, at turn 2, he tested it. He was the one who went out there and said, if you go around turn 2 and turn your fuel off, you should be fine. I was like, thanks, Billy.
Well, you know what, Shelly? That's just kind of how the brakes work anyway. So when you're on an old bike, they don't stop anyway. So
what's that, Shelly? What does it feel like out there? I know the track is a good track, but it's bumpy, and I've heard all sorts of things about it. And I've seen people on that speedway hit the wall, and I mean they're flying down the track, and you know there's a certain amount of danger in there. What's all that feel like when you're out and running?
Well, the thing that is deceiving is when you come around that turn 4, you are getting pushed to that wall where the grandstands are.
Yeah, people come so close.
Oh my gosh. And if you are next to anybody, of course, and of course anyone wants to find the right line, you're getting pushed regardless. So that's kind of a sketchy turn, and there are some ruts in there from the cars that race on there. The track is a great track, but not certainly well maintained for small tire motorcycles. So we have to go out there ahead of time and kind of clean up a lot of the scrap, and just, you know, be cautious of the debris on the track. And so
when you said bumps, I remember seeing that turn 4, because that's where the pedestrians cross on that one spot there before the grandstand.
Yes.
There's some big lumps in there, and I can't believe you guys.
And that's also where people hit the walls coming out of 4. That's something else. Yeah. And I've seen they've gone down there, but I've also seen people hit that wall pretty hard and keep it up, which just amazes me.
Isn't that crazy? I have all those. I know some of the guys, there are some amazing racers and riders, I should say. And when he brought the 45s in, and he gave something more for the spectators to watch, those guys are crazy, and they are balls to the wall, and they're running those bikes, you know, a lot faster than we're running ours. And I run the stock 61 class. So when I say 61, you're cubic inch, but basically I'm not in the performance class or the modified class. If you guys remember Brittany Olson, she ran, hers is modified. And so she kind of started that opportunity for these guys that wanted to tune them up and of course make them go faster.
Yeah, I saw her in a tank slapper there a couple of years ago. That was kind of scary. She was coming out of that turn 4 again. I think that where that was.
Yeah. And she said it. She's like, I'm not stopping. She was so determined to keep going on that.
I think she just throttled out of it. That's what you're supposed to do, right? I mean, obviously there's no brakes. You just speed up and throttle out of it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yep.
Well, you've got a great group and I love seeing the women in there. And I know Brittany won the first one. The Daughters of Speed won the first one.
Yeah, that's right.
No, but Brittany's not racing anymore, isn't that right?
I think so. I think she's taking a break.
Well, guys,
Shelly,
I have to share a really quick story. I don't know if you know this, but we were invited to go to the Festival of Speed over in England.
I did know that. Billy told me.
Yeah, and Billy and Brittany and I, and we got an opportunity of a lifetime. And Brittany had her Indian and her Harley, and Billy brought about 3 different bikes. He brought his Merkel, his Indian, and a Harley. And it was such an incredible experience. And just to be over there in that world, and the people were great, and the experience is something I'll never forget. So I don't know what Brittany's doing in regards to racing, but that was the last time I had a chance to run around with her.
Yeah, I heard she took
beautiful.
a break from racing, but then I heard she's flying airplanes. So I don't know.
Wow.
She's not going to stop doing, everything, I'm sure. So
I'll tell you, Goodwood is something else, isn't it? What a beautiful experience to be over there.
Yeah,
have you gone, Mike? Have you gone over there?
I didn't do the Festival of Speed. I did Goodwood Revival. And Shelly, that's another thing that's really cool. It's like to photograph there. I had a choice. I could wear a suit out of the 50s. Like literally, no, they said you got to either you come up with a suit that looks like it's out of the 50s, or you got to wear a canvas jumpsuit, mechanic's jumpsuit, which is what I did. I got a mechanic's jumpsuit. And so if you're not dressed, you're not getting in on the infield. And
yes,
they have this whole village. True. Were you there? I mean, did you see the village? It looks like an old supermarket and the grocery and pharmacy and all that stuff, Shelly, or is the Festival of Speed? I know it's over at the estate.
It is at the estate, but you still stay in the town of Chichester, which is where the revival is held, and it's just on a different piece of property. And yes, I stayed in that little town, and we were driven into Goodwood on a daily, and it was just the people that were helping us were so excited to have the crazy American board trackers there. You know what I mean? They they gave us this prestige that we just didn't really know was going to come, because we were the oldest motorcycles running the hill that day or that weekend.
Rock stars.
Really? Yeah. How fun.
The revival is very different. It's actually, there's a whole racetrack. And so they do this racing, and it's more cars than bikes, but there's great bikes there. And then they'll do things like Spitfires. That one year it'll be based on Spitfires, and the largest squadron of Spitfires since World War II. And they land right there. So they have everything right there. I mean, it's just, and everybody's dressed up, and it's like you're in another time zone.
I want to go. I want to dress up.
Yeah, Chris, anyone from the Cannonball would really enjoy this. I mean, they should really have a Cannonball contingency go to the Goodwood Revival.
Yeah,
that would be something. Go.
Well, there you go. I hope we have it next year.
September.
Oh, well.
Yeah, it is September.
Yeah. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, boy, I'll tell you, it seems like motorcycles have really opened the world for you. Now, have you gone over? Now, you've gone overseas to Goodwood, of course, but where else have you gone overseas with motorcycles? Have you done that at all? I know you travel a lot.
Well, we did a really cool trip on dirt bikes in 2017 to Vietnam. We went to Vietnam and ripped around there for 2 weeks, and that was a guided trip. You had to kind of prepare for that because I guess in a way preparing, we needed a company to bring us, because just to go do it on your own, you hear about a lot of people who just go buy a motorcycle or rent some type of motorbike and cruise around Vietnam. We did it off-road. So we were on trails and places that I didn't think we should probably be in, but that was really cool. We've definitely gone to, around Europe. We had a trip planned this year to do northern Italy, which just because of everything going on, we had to cancel that. So we postponed that for next September. But there's so many places I want to go. It's like, if there's an opportunity to take a trip, and in the United States or even out of the United States, I usually make sure there's a motorcycle or 2 wheels involved. So everyone always asks, do you only ride Harley Davidsons? No, I mean, I'll ride anything that I can. And I have an idea of, if it's their bike in their country or their culture, that's the bike I want to ride.
Yeah, it could be a Vespa in Sicily, right?
Or Mike, it could be a Royal Enfield up in the Himalayas.
That's right. It could be that too. We'll have to go there too, Shelly. I really believe that motorcycles are a key to the world. I mean, it's like, just turn it and it opens up the world to you. People, let you into their worlds. You come and get off a bike somewhere, and all of a sudden you're in a little village, and people invite you into their home, into their little shops or whatever. And it's just a great way to interact with the entire world.
Yep, I remember riding in Australia in a roundabout. I didn't know which way to get out.
Round and round and round,
and going the other way. Wait, which way do I get out?
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow,
that's so
great.
true. And when you go to these, tracks around the world, just even though I'm not in and around the racing from, worldwide racing, but I have gone to some of these MotoGP races, and it just blows my mind. And I've always dreamed of and imagined going to one of these huge MotoGP races, or Isle of Man, or just any of these things that you hear people talking about over the time. And so there's a lot to do. I just got to figure out how to do it.
It's a big world out there.
Well, I love that you have all these plans and things to do, and that you have something to look forward to, right?
Italy sounds great next year.
Really?
That's a wonderful one. I've done that. I did the Switzerland, Austria, and the Dolomites, like the 3 countries, the Alps, and also northern Italy. It's a great trip through Tuscany. Can't beat it.
Yeah.
Although my wife still beats me when I took her up into the Apennine Alps there, and it started snowing on us at night, and there was nowhere. I mean, we were so numb, and I kept saying, "No, don't worry, everything's fine. Don't worry." My fingers and toes are totally numb, but those things happen, right? It's part of the adventure.
Those are the memories, right?
That's part of the adventure. That's right. Especially the little place we ended up in, that they threw us into the shower and made us an amazing Italian meal and warmed us up. So,
there you go. I knew there was going to be good food involved. If it was you in Italy, you're going to
yes. Michael, I've seen you hanging off the back of vehicles. So, you know what I mean? You've kind of been through, I've literally watched you with like a leg maybe holding on, that's trying to get the shot.
A convertible in Daytona, holding onto his ankles.
Whatever it takes, right? Cool. Well, Shelly, it sounds like you got a lot of opportunities in front of you. What are the plans for destination? I mean, this is the last shot I have of you. Now, you're super happy. Now, it was at a sad event. This is Arlen Ness's memorial, but we were all together and we were having a good time that night. This was last year, paying tribute to Arlen. But that's Shelly with her husband, Dean, who's also part of the dealership.
Yes, he's such a huge part of our dealership, and so I get to work with him every day, and he's such a huge help to our family. And our plans are really just we got to be steady Eddie right now, and we have to, we'll grow as it's kind of meant to happen, but we are in a really, really good place right now. The business is doing very well. I mean, we're selling Harley Davidsons, and that's something we're very, very fortunate. And we are extremely lucky to have these rallies in our backyard, Bike Week and Biketoberfest. We prepare for them. They're a huge part of our annual, business. So we just have to not necessarily reinvent the wheel, but we have to just kind of keep the excitement. We want our area to be a place that people want to visit and continue to visit. And so I just, personally, I just want to make sure we're going to stay in a good place. And when it's not fun anymore, then we'll move on. But right now it's too much fun.
No, you're the best person for it. You got the attitude, certainly.
Well, thanks so much for coming on. We really appreciate it. It's been wonderful to connect with you again.
Well, thank you guys for including me, and I will always reach out when and if I'm in your backyards riding or not. So
now I know you come to Colorado, so I expect that call, right?
Yes, and Cris, you're in an area I've never touched on 2 wheels. So I need to get up into that neck of the woods, but you'll be heading back over the ocean soon, right?
Yeah, well, I'm here for about a month. But I'm up in the redwoods. It's great. There's beautiful roads up here. Mike knows.
Spectacular. My goodness.
The ocean. There's not many people. It's very nice. But I'm very lucky. I got coast to coast, right? I gave the right name for my show, but our show. But anyway, it's been fun to see you guys. And Mike, what do you got going on this week?
Just more of the same. Working on my set. I'll be on the Cannonball Chronicles tomorrow night. I'm doing another 1,000 word segment.
Nice.
And What else?
We'll have to check out Thursday night show at Willie's Tropical Tent.
That's right.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
going to
there's
be
my
fun.
website. I'm still working hard. Like I said, I'm still working on the 2014 Cannibal. I'll tell you, re-editing some of these big shoots, it takes a lot of time. So there's that. And of course, my rehab, which is taking a lot of time. What about yourself? What do you got going this week?
We have to pull Effie out of the garage, my 1915 Harley, and kiss her goodbye. Take her down to the museum. She's going to be on display.
Cool.
We're
You
going to
do
drive
that this
down
week?
there. Yeah, I think we're going to do it this week sometime. Just waiting to hear from them. And then we might fire up our, Pat's got his 29. I got my 34 here. We might do a little coast ride, you know.
JD?
He's got his JD here. I've got my 34 VD from the Chase. It just came off the Chase last year, and I just got the battery on the charger. So,
oh, what a beautiful place to go riding.
It's all
off to the coast for your fish and chips and through the redwoods or whatever.
That's it. Yep. But I'm working on, trying to promote my books a little more. I've got some interest in people buying my books. Click on my website, check it out. I'm here. I have a garage full of books up here. I don't have that many in Hawaii, but I got them here.
Cool.
So, and then next week, I don't know what we've got lined up. We might have something fun coming up.
Karen may be on next week. We're talking today, and so Karen Davidson either next week or the week after. We got to talk to her in the next couple of days, and that should be another great show. And there we go.
Yeah,
we're all set.
Going. All right. Well, have a great week, everybody. It's time to saddle this one up. So, hey, there you go. I hope my dad's watching. Maybe he stayed awake or he's playing solitaire. But have a great week, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to Cyclosource Media Group for letting us share this hour with you every week. We really enjoy it. And we'll see you later. Hey, Mike.
Yes, and we'll, I missed a couple of questions, but we'll start with the questions from tonight next week. All right?
Okay.
We'll do that in the early show next week.
All right.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Appreciate it. We'll see you all next week.
Good night, everybody. See you. Thanks, Shelly.
Thank you. Bye-bye.